Welcome to the West Skinny, where we dig into the most recent numbers from Orange and Rockland counties. The Skinny is brought to you by the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, featuring single-family homes from HGMLS West. Let's start with buyer activity. Closed sales were up 21.9% to 1,170. On the seller side, new listings were down a slight 3.8% to 1,802 new homes. Seller activity has been shifting around lately, which could suggest that change is near. It would be a welcome change. Educated buyers continue to monitor seller activity closely with the hopes of additional options. Inventory is still thin in some areas, but the year-over-year declines could soon start to fade. Region-wide, the number of homes for sale fell 13.8% from last year to arrive at 3,928 units. Since reaching a peak in 2010, the number of active listings on the market has been falling. Multiple offers are still fairly common, so serious buyers need to come out swinging because the season likely depends on it. At $315,000, the median sales price was up a respectable 2.4% compared to last year. That marks the highest median price since the third quarter of 2011, and this metric also matched the third quarter 2009 price. What's driving this, you ask? Less supply, more demand, and an improving sales mix. But what's fueling the demand? Still affordable interest rates and home prices, as well as an improving labor market and rising rents. The possibility of further increases in mortgage rates and prices could also be fueling buyer demand. There are still 12.5 months supply of inventory in the region. That may sound like a lot, but it's a far cry from the 20 months seen just 3 years ago. Sellers are now getting offers that are much more in line with asking prices than in the past. On average, in fact, sellers receive 92% of their original list price at sale. That's the highest ratio for any quarter since the third quarter of 2007. That's the West Skinny for this quarter. Check back next time for the latest.